Welcome to the Cool Fireman Podcast, a virtual firehouse kitchen table with Matt, Adam, Brian, Doug, and Freddie, where they discuss everything that matters in today's fire service. Now let's get to the show.
I'm about to sweat to death. Told you, it smells like 14-year-old Cheeto teen boy breath mask. Oh my gosh.
Why are you hanging out with a bunch of 14-year-old kids?
Because it's my kids. The things we do for our listeners, for crying out loud, Halloween episode. I'm dying over here. What was that movie, Scream? That movie, Scream?
Yeah.
What are you wearing?
What's your favorite scary movie?
What's your favorite scary
Doug's
movie?
just not going to talk the whole entire podcast.
Oh, so he's going to be Adam.
I'm dressing up as somebody else tonight. Welcome back to the Cool Fireman Podcast. This is going to be part 2 of our mentorship in the fire service.
You think you're the only guy in Charlestown with a gun? Remember who cooked
happy
your nuts
Halloween,
for you,
boys.
Fergie?
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah, it's Halloween. It's
Happy
this
Halloween.
episode is dropping on Halloween. I think this is episode 129, I think. I don't know. Yeah, happy Halloween. As you can see, Doug has aged a little bit. He doesn't even wearing a mask. But Brian is.
You can wear sunscreen in Africa.
You need to go watch this podcast, at least the beginning.
Hey, and not only did Doug age, but he changed genders. So there's that.
It's almost 2026. I can do what I want.
You can identify as an old lady nun.
I don't know if I'm going to make it through this podcast, to be honest with you, dude. This is. I just can't look at Doug. I can't look at him.
It is a little creepy.
Yeah.
When you said Doug's coming in, like I was like, oh, okay. And then when it cut on, it like freaked me out. Like I don't know why.
Yeah.
But it did.
Well, you guys are going to have to take those masks off. We're going to hear you. All right, for all the people, I forgot. There's people that are just listening to this. So this is the Halloween, and I kind of forgot. I'm wearing my USA shirt, so maybe I'm just an American. America. And
As a Californian, that's scary, right, to you? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, it has a whole different meaning in California.
No doubt.
Yeah.
He dressed as a patriot.
I'm dressed as a patriot. Yeah, America. And then Doug's dressed up as a nun, like a dirty nun.
It's from the town.
Yeah, it's from the town. M. Night Shyamalan.
No, different town.
It was?
Oh my God, you've never seen the town.
No, I haven't.
Okay, you're watching that this weekend.
May the power of Christ compel you. And then Brian is wearing the Scream mask.
Thank you,
Very
Frank.
generic, but that's okay. And there's jets going on in Unky's backyard. All right. Let's get this party started, folks. Happy Halloween. And today we're going to be doing like a part 2, like Unc said, of the we were talking about, what is it?
The hook is every generation of firefighters says the next one has the easier. But what if the truth is we just stopped teaching them the way we were taught?
Yeah.
How has mentorship have changed over the years, why it matters, and how both sides, veterans and rookies, share responsibilities for keeping the firehouse strong.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Dude, what a great discussion we had last week. And I kind of felt bad because we had to cut it kind of short by 10, 15 minutes because my family was waiting for me and we just didn't have enough time. So it'll be cool to continue that discussion. We had a lot more to talk about and we got a lot of engagement.
Boy, did we ever.
And it's social media, so take it with a grain of salt, right? Perception is reality. Okay, folks, everybody knows that. And our loyal listeners that listen to the Cool Fireman podcast week in and week out for us, and they support us. You guys understand because you listen to the podcast, so you get the context of what we're talking about. So a lot of the times, these clips are made for us on Riverside, which is the platform we use to create the podcast. And not all the time do we get the greatest amount of context in these clips. And it's just the way it goes. And that happens outside of it, Riverside. I mean, people just make clips and they're just doesn't really tell the whole story. And so a lot of the people, and we're going to use this during Snail Mail, we're going to talk about it. So we're not going to beat a dead horse here. Sorry, Doug. But I don't want to go too much into it until we get to Snail Mail. But so let's do some real quick housekeeping. So I have some notes here. Kenny's showdown. Kenny, about a week and a half ago, told us that he was, in fact, the first person every single week to listen to the Cool Fireman podcast. And he sent us a voice message and a text message and the whole thing. And he challenged the community of the Cool Fireman podcast to be the first listener. And although I think there were some close ones, there was a guy named John that responded as a comment on Spotify that started listening at 6:00 Eastern Standard Time. But I think Kenny beat him. So this week we're going to say nobody beat him. So this is going to be a continuation of a giveaway. So if you can beat Kenny, we're going to put another Instagram post up, and I'll post it at the same time that I post the podcast, which is midnight Pacific time, 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The podcast will go up. And if you are legitimately listening to this right now and you make a post or a comment on our Instagram post, then we're going to send you a prize. I don't know what that's going to be. It's going to be some fire stuff. It'll be a fun little box, but we'll get your address and we'll send it to you.
Maybe a used scream mask. I don't know.
Yeah. It smells like 14-year-old Cheeto breath.
Ooh.
Could be.
Congratulations.
I wore this a couple years ago at a Halloween tournament, and I was coaching third base wearing this entire ensemble. It was great.
How did you do signs?
We do verbal. We do.
You just tell
numbers.
them go.
We
you
do
just
steal.
steal.
We do numbers.
Oh,
but hey, you like my hat? Trey Taylor, Crew Tractor.
I can't see it. You're very blurry.
Hit the road, dude.
Very nice.
Supporting my neighbors.
So if you think you can beat Kenny, make a comment on either Spotify or and like somehow you got to time it. You got to like write what time it is that you're listening to it. And this is all integrity, folks. All integrity. Just like when you call in sick, right, Brian?
Amen.
Amen, brother. What else we got? That was Kenny's prize sponsors. I gotta say, we were just talking about this before we hit record. The FD Collectors Club. I've told you guys, I'm not always been the biggest firefighter trinket guy. But maybe Doug has them and he's walking up with them.
He's going.
This month's FD Collectors Club challenge coins are freaking cool, man. They are really cool. The In and Out from Rivco, Riverside County. Dude, there it is. 35s.
There it is.
Cal Fire, Riverside County FD. Dude, how cool is that coin?
Yeah.
All the firemen from California just wooded up. Sorry, Rhett.
I'm a big fan of this one too. The House of Pain.
The House of Pain. So rad.
Can I just speak to the level of detail?
It is super
in the weight. Like when you hold on to one of those coins, you know that you've got something in your hand.
I gotta pull my skirt up.
But the quality of those coins and the detail of those coins. And I don't know about y'all, but speaking of that, I got a notification that my burn box is on the way.
Yeah, I did too.
Me too.
So I'm pretty stoked about that because I should get it
the patch
later this week.
Dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what Roy Wilson is. And it didn't really explain what Roy Wilson was in the little excerpt that was on the card inside the package. So maybe for next podcast, we can ask Tom, or if somebody wants to text him right now. What the heck is Roy
Wilson Training Center.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay, so it must have been
some kind of integral role to their department. Yeah.
All right, there you go. So,
and
very cool.
I'll tell you, I got a text from Mr. Tom today. Be on the lookout for Buford number 9, my fire station, coming in the FD Collectors Club soon. And you might get another one from Virginia. I'm just saying.
Whoa.
You might get a double dose of Virginia in a box soon.
Virginia.
Yeah. Oh, snap.
Very cool. I love that. So, yeah, very excited. So we got the FD Collectors Club. We're waiting for the burn box. That'd be really cool. Look out for Doug's recap.
Are we going to roll that promo right
Roll
about
it.
now?
Brought to you by the Burn Box, the #1 firefighter subscription box. The Burn Box celebrates firefighter products and firefighter-owned and operated businesses. Start today and receive a monthly box of firefighter apparel, gear, and tools. Check them out at theburnbox.com.
Okay, cool.
Love it.
We love Doug. We love Doug. We love Tom. I do love Doug. That just came out naturally. Didn't we love that, Doug? I love lamp. And then Unky's seasoning from our man in the top right of your screen. If you're watching on Spotify, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Unky Seasonings. That's his real name, folks. Given that birth.
I had some on my spaghetti tonight.
Oh, yes.
Hey, Doug.
Little garlic in there.
Doug, we forgot to ask you. Oh, so let's roll the promo.
From the firehouse to your house, Unky's Seasoning packs bold, firehouse-tested flavor into every meal. Whether you're grilling, roasting, or just sprinkling it on your favorite snacks, our blends turn everyday eats into unforgettable bites. Pick your flavor, shake it on, and taste why it's firehouse approved. Go to unkyseasoning.com.
Okay. Unky's. Hey, Adam, is there any new things going on at Unky Seasonings that we need to know about?
Not honestly. No, he put me on the spot, but no, at Unky Season, not at this time.
All right,
nothing new. We still got the all our flavors out there. The garlic and herb is almost sold out, so we're gonna have to put in an order in to reorder for that. Got a few bottles left over for that, but
nice.
Everything's going good.
All right, very good. I was going to ask Doug. I said he was milking horses the last that we knew. That you didn't make it last week because you were at the circus milking horses. Is that true?
No, I got to say that was a fabrication.
That's bullshit.
But I did have to take mine to the vet today, to this eye specialist, not the vet.
Really?
Thanks for bringing that up, Matt.
Yeah, my poor little Reba. She has.
What about did you see a giraffe in the safari the week prior?
I did. I was crawling
and
out
you were attacked by a rhino.
I was crawling out of a rhinoceros's asshole, and a giraffe came trotting up and was like, "What's up, man? You need some help?" And he
need a ride.
He reached his neck out, and I put an arm around it, and he proceeded to extricate me from the rhino's a-hole.
Wow. Sorry, Rhett, and sorry, Quinn. Now we have two kids that we know of that listen to our podcast.
Well, not the first time.
Not the first time.
Not the first time. Yeah. All right. The main me. Oh, no. We got to do a moment of silence.
You looked right at me, and then I looked right at you, and you was like, you know.
Why do you keep thinking I'm looking at you?
Because you are. You're looking at me. Because I'm looking at you.
How do you know? All right. Does anybody have anybody near and dear to their heart to give a dedication as a moment of silence? And before we do this, guys, this just popped into my little pea-sized brain. If you're a listener and you're listening to this right now, we would love to honor, because, not all the time, right? The four of us never really have someone that's near and dear that's, either the same, God forbid, the same department. That would be terrible. But neighboring and or even in the same state. Sometimes we hear about it via social medias and all that. But if we don't have one, then we just give a broad moment of silence for, the entire country. But if you have a moment of silence for us, someone that you want to honor on the Cool Fireman podcast, moment of silence, let us know. thecoolfireman@gmail.com, or hit us up on any of our social medias. We're on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube specifically, and Facebook, but not as much Facebook. But hit us up and let us know if you have somebody that's near and dear to your heart that you want us to give a dedication to, because we would love to do that. But for tonight, I don't think any of us have anybody, right? Which is a good thing. No anniversaries and no line of duty deaths, no deaths in the departments. So let's give a quick moment of silence for all of our brothers and sisters that we may have lost over the last week. Well said.
Well said.
All right. I feel like I've talked a lot in the last 13 minutes and 48 seconds. So, Ankh, you had the question. Do you want to start us off? Do you want to start naming names? What would you like to do?
Well, it's kind of, I guess, a little short little recap. Last week, we started with the mentorship, what it looked like. We talked about the old school mentorship, the kitchen table, hands-on teaching, and we started touching in on the second part where it starts to break down the mentorship. Brian touched a little bit about the technology, and I was going to go into the staffing shortages, stuff like that. So it's all about the mentorship. Are we failing our next generation? Are we doing a good job or doing a bad job? Because the big question was, have we stopped teaching them the way we were taught? And if so, why? So let's pick it up where things starting to break down. The technology, staffing shortages, changing priorities, pulling veterans away from teaching. Anybody know what a good point to start at on that? Where it starts breaking down, where you think it starts breaking down?
I mean, the only thing I could say is I learned a lot from the comments, the positive ones and the negative comments that we received on Instagram primarily. We had a clip reach over 50,000 views, and that was mostly because of the engagement. I think there's over 300 comments, over 1,000. There's like 1,000 or 2,000 likes. And so it did really well. And it was, really well as in view wise. I don't know if people had a hard time understanding our context. We were, and I could probably let Brian try to explain, we were trying to talk about not screwing your buddy, and don't be that guy that puts out a text message to a bunch of guys saying, "Hey, I need time off because I got my daughter's this and that." And nobody says anything, or nobody says they can do it. And then they just call in sick anyways. Right. And then you're just basically devaluing everybody that you just sent a text to, and you could really give a shit about what they have going on, because if nobody has availability in, then they're probably busy, you know what I mean? And they've got kid stuff going on. So why is your time any more important than my time? And I that's like the one time I can say that, right, guys? I mean, we always talk about how we're selfless. This is a selfless service that we give. But I work my effing days. Sorry, Rhett. I work my days. I have 10 days a month, plus I work overtimes when I can. Yeah. And if I can't work one of those days and I'm not sick, I'm sorry. In this service, we miss things, right, guys? And we've talked about this. It's not easy. We miss birthdays. We miss. I almost missed my son's baptism. I was out on a wildland strike team. It's just the way it goes. But when you can control it, and I say, Brian, my time is worth more than yours. Like, that's brutal. And I had a hard time with these negative comments, and I replied back to some of them, going, "You missed the point of what we were trying to say, right. Or you're just pulling whatever context you wanted in order for you to make a negative comment, because that's what social media is." And I've been told by so many people, right? And I just reposted Jeremy Donch's his post about, why do we keep beating ourselves up, man? Right. Well, you're a fireman, I'm a fireman. And I told my chief the other day, I was like, man, these negative comments, I'm like, makes me almost not want to be a fireman. Because I'm like, I share the same profession as you. Like, I am not the same as you, pal. It's tough. So I don't know if you want to expand on that.
I do, and I'm only going to make two brief comments, and that's it, because I don't owe an explanation for my thoughts. If you want to know, you should go back and listen to it. But just for the sake of the smart clip, and I hope it's clipped, what I would say is the context of this is that we walk around and we complain about being forced for overtime, right? But we're sometimes the reason that overtime gets forced. And so when you do that, okay, when you call out sick because you couldn't get it and because you valued your time more than the other person, and you force the overtime, that's the frustrating part. And the other part of that is I told Matt before we started, I didn't read the comments because it doesn't matter. It's not going to change my opinion. because I know I read about 4 or 5 of them, and it was, this is my time. This is what I earned. And to that point that's correct. You earned it for sick leave. You earned it for the sake of when there's bereavement, when you earned it for the sake of when your wife needs it, when you're sick. That's what sick leave is. Personal time off, vacation. Those other ones are the other form of leave. It is a different type of leave. It's not for that. And that's where, again, you have to use it. You have to put it in the right bucket, because when you don't, you really are screwing the other person. And people talked about inadequate staffing. That's a whole totally different conversation, right? Like, let's not even say, well, I'm going to use sick leave to show the man, right, up at town hall or at city hall that we need more staffing. Nope. That's not the point. And you know what? If you're doing that, then they're going to say, no, we don't need you because you're not using the leave that we give you appropriately. And that's not the type of employee that we want. And I can say that because I'm forced to be the man in the middle, or the chief in the middle, between the working man and the guy at town hall. And I'm not saying, clear point here, that's not what my town has said, but I'm just saying of my peers, that's what happens, is we get forced to have those conversations in between. So we strive to find that balance, to do minimum staffing, to change response protocols, also that way we can have the balance, right? Based off of risk, frequency, probability, and cost. It always comes down to that, whether it's people, widgets, trucks, whatever. And that's how we do it. So going back to what Adam said about technology and such things, is that
I want to touch on this tapping out leave stuff. It all depends on your department. Like, we go around, if you got something going on and you can't go trade, take that day, because we have 20 spots that it's got to be filled with bodies for overtime, and we only have 12 people to fill it. So now it goes from 20 to 21. Nobody extra is getting hit because we don't even have the numbers. I mean, in my department, we don't even have the numbers to meet our daily quota of staffing. So one more person missing is not affecting a firefighter at all, because it's every day. Those trucks are cross-staffed. Trucks are already down and everything. So one more person missing from the lineup does not affect. So I tell people, this job will replace you in a heartbeat, but your family won't.
For sure.
It's a different situation than like the normal, like, let's say, Matt's, your staff, you are forcing people and stuff like that. You're not, in our situation, you're not forcing nobody to work overtime. You're already forced to work overtime. We're mandatory 72 on, 24 off.
So Adam, you know that's coming though, right?
Yeah.
The majority of the time, you know it's coming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We know. We've been working 72, 24 for 8 years. And before that, we were doing 120 hours on, 24 hours off. So it's nothing new to us. It's unique to our situation.
Sure.
So we tell everybody, it's like, it's your leave. Use it how you want to. But when you do it, when you're out of leave, don't come asking for more, because they can do advanced sick leave. And I've always loved, one of our old chiefs used to say that all the time. It's your leave, use it as you want to. But when you run out of it, because we have those people, when you run out of it, don't come asking for more, because you're not going to get it.
Doug, you are so loud.
I got some peanuts, guys.
Doug, go on mute. Yes.
You told me to move my microphone closer.
Oh, please. Well, you see me chewing?
So let me say this. Let me just say this, going back to what you said, Adam. I will say a couple of the comments that I saw was some of the sick leave is use it or lose it, those kind of things. And I do think that those are some of the different variables. In my community and in most states, those jurisdictions, I say most of the states that I know, your sick leave you're able to use towards retirement. So those same people, let me rephrase that, most of the people in the comments were like, man, as soon as I can get out, I'm getting out. I'm with you. I want to get out of the way for the next generation to take the place when it comes to innovation and the opportunity for leadership, right? Hopefully I've mentored them, kind of coming back full circle. But I want to get out of the way. So I want to not use my sick leave, get out of the way, retire as early as I can, and let the next generation leave their mark. I'm done with mine, right? So that extra year's worth of sick leave, roll it, calculate it up to 30. I'm getting out of the way. Boom. Have at it.
Yeah, it's all about your benefits and how it's done. I know your department has amazing benefits, but even with the DOD, you're going to give me extra 50 cents for giving you a year and a half of sick leave, where for a year and a half I can pull a full paycheck.
And I think that's why the internet got caught on fire, was because so many people took that comment personal based off of them assuming that I know how their benefits work. Yeah, and it wasn't. It was based off of how my benefits work, right? And how my community is set up. So that's where, like I was saying earlier, I just kind of, took it with a grain of sand, because it is what it is. Doug wanted to say something.
And that's the great thing about our departments. We're so spread out that we all have different situations. So
I did see one comment. Now, I don't know. I glanced over it and I might get lost in translation. He said something about selling his time back. I don't know if he meant he was using his sick leave because they pay you pennies on the dollar for it. If I earn it if I take a 24-hour sick leave, I get paid my hourly rate. If I hold, now I'm on PTO, so all mine's in the same bank, but the older guys who have those sick leave banks of several thousand hours, if they leave that in their bank when they retire, they're getting paid pennies on the dollar for that. So you'll see a lot of guys near retirement, they'll go out and get a shoulder surgery, or I got this knee issue I got to get fixed, and that kind of thing, because they want to get dollar for dollar. And I get it. And again, I may have misread what he said, but I'm not sure if he was selling it back or whether he was just taking more sick leave.
Well, and again, I think it's all on
I'm going to go look at it.
Well, it's all in how your retirement system is set up, because in North Carolina, I can leave. So right now I've got about 1,800 hours, which is about 11 months of sick leave. And so at year 29 and 2 months, I can submit my paperwork and check out, and they'll calculate my years up to that 30. And so again, all four of us, and Matt, you're shaking your head, so maybe yours in California is like that. So he's saying yes. So again, I have the ability to do it differently than other people. So let me go back to what I don't want us to go too far off from what Adam's question was, which was, how is technology helping or hurting with regards to mentorship? And I think it can be both. I think it's a double-edged sword. The internet, we've said it a couple of times on here, that the internet is a dangerous and a wonderful thing. So like the same thing. I mean, we are what we ingest. So if we are scrolling on Instagram and we do nothing but take in the negative comments on this post, we would probably like drink some of the salty haterade, and that's probably not good. But if we were to go onto YouTube and I don't want to say enjoy and take in some strategies and tactics, maybe some of our leadership, moments, or our entire podcast, it would probably do us good. But there's other podcasts that, just, I don't want to say spew hate. That's not the word that I'm looking for, but that they have a negative connotation to them. So you are what you eat, you are what you ingest when it comes to mentorship. So I think technology is a good thing, just with regards to social media and podcasts and such. Matt, you want to chime in?
Very unbecoming of certain people.
The only thing I was going to say was the firemen you're talking about are the chest pounding firemen that are cooler than you. And they're going to say, oh, but you have the cool fireman podcast. Yeah. Okay. Sure. So that's all I'll say. I shared it with y'all. Preston, my oldest, was on a sports podcast last night, and one of the guys on there was a retired cop. And he's like, oh, yeah, you're on a podcast. What's the name of yours? And I was like, The Cool Fireman. He looked at me. I was like, I know it sounds cocky. I know.
But we aspire to be the cool fireman. He was like, like even just that, when you hear our name, like you would think, oh, God, who are these guys?
Yeah.
And so, that mentorship, I think it goes back to, with regards to technology, to Adam's point, is we can, as a captain, I mean, imagine if you sent it out to your crew the morning of, or a battalion chief said, hey, I want you guys to watch this really cool video and critique it. And then when we come around, let's tabletop it. Boom. And like just individually, one-on-one, you could tabletop it.
I don't
what do y'all think about something like that?
I don't understand. Are you talking about tabletop and stuff? I love it. I actually just ran across a Instagram post today and I saved it because my first day back, actually, I'm going back tomorrow for overtime. So I was going to bring it up at the table in the morning. All of us just sitting there drinking coffee. And I'll be like, hey, what do you think of this video? And it's a video. You guys might have seen it on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, but it's the back end of a like a 16 wheeler, like a heavy truck. And it has a 704 placard on the back of it. And I hit pause and you can see the numbers on it. And I'm like, hey, what do you guys think about this? And I want them to go get the ERG book and look and open it up and try to find out what's in the back of this rig. And we can talk about it. Oh, look at that. And I think that'll be really good. You know, I could talk about like what I'm going to be expecting as for my engineer parking 300 feet away, uphill, upwind, upstream, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like what my tactics are going to be. I think that's really cool stuff. That's how like social media can be used to your advantage, you know, and those really cool, like chest pounding firemen, they'll be like nerd, like, yeah, sure. But it's still a way to, you know, to do some really good types of training, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
Or some of these like forced entry door methods. I
didn't find the comment.
I know Doug is a big hands-on tactical guy. So what do you think about something like that, Doug, where like if you shared a video with your crew and said, hey, do you think this would really work as easily as it is? Hey, we may not be able to go actually do this, but like I watched a guy who had like it's an outward swinging. So the hinges were obviously inward, but it was, you know, outward swinging door, but it had a plate on where the strike plate is, and then the hinges. And then he was just using his Halligan bar and his sledge to basically just bust the hinges and then pull them out. I'm sure you've probably seen it.
Yeah.
Is it that easy? Like, that's my question.
It is. I mean, my shift or my crew does that. I mean, we'll see something and we're like, hey man, let's talk about this. Yeah. If we have the ability to try it, we try it.
Yeah.
Because to something like that, to me, that's a great form of mentorship, right? Like you don't have access necessarily to just go start ripping out, you know, commercial doors like crazy, but you're like, hey, I really like that. And out of a crew of 4 or 5, when it comes time to be able to do it, it's like, hey, I remember that one video. Let's try this. It's more of a pain.
I tell you, when we do that a lot is we have a lot of construction. I've been told, I have not verified this, that we are the fastest growing county in the state of Virginia, which means a lot of commercial construction. So we're getting all kinds of buildings as acquired structures in the past 2-3 years or so that are going to be torn down and replaced with something. So we'll get, 2-3 weeks to work through it. And some truck officer will be assigned with coming up with a schedule to work the crews through it. And we'll save certain things for the end. So, because obviously you can't cut holes in the roof until the end and that kind of stuff. But we'll do those, like you said, attacking hinges with a Halligan. Most people don't think of that because you don't really have to do it that often. But we get acquired structures and do that kind of stuff, the stuff that you see that we did low frequency stuff.
Yeah, try out, the way other departments do things. It may work for your department, may not. But it might, for that one call, it might be the perfect thing for you.
Yeah.
Go out and see why it works for that company.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in the process now of, we just went to a new hose load for all of our units. We went to a standard hose load with a 400-foot line, and we did away with all of our 3-inch. All of our gate down stuff now is all 2.5. It's called leader line. But we got new hose recently, and we went to a completely new hose load for every unit. So we're in the process of working through all that.
How was that? Cool. How was that? Let me ask this question. How was that met?
We obviously, when we put it in play, or before we did, we ran an in-service where everybody went through, and that was our in-service for that season. That quarter was the new hose load, pulling the 400-foot line, how to pack the 400-foot line, the advantages, sometimes disadvantages of it. The extra 1 3/4 bundles we have now, the new high-rise stuff that we just went to, we did a complete in-service on it. And yeah, it was met with anytime you change something, you're going to get met with a lot of, well, it's always worked that way. Well, yeah, because it's always worked that way doesn't mean it's the most efficient way. Yeah. Now, the way it always worked it did always work, but could it have been more efficient? And that's what this comes down to is efficiency, and how fast can we produce the desired result safely and effectively. One of our lieutenants, Joe Schwickerith, was really him and Dylan Hardy were really hammering this thing home, and obviously a lot of research was involved, and they were behind the whole thing of switching to. We got new nozzles, we got new hose, we got everything new because we, newer stuff, the friction loss and excuse me, and the nozzle reaction and all the coefficients were just mind-blowingly different from what we were using. So now I can get the same volume of water out of 50 or 60 less pounds of nozzle pressure. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
So,
and you'll have the old guys say, we pumped everything at 200. Well, 200 PSI is a lot to hold on to. Oh my gosh. So when I first started, we were at 150, and now we're down to PDP is like 115, 110, something like that. Like it's nothing. Wow. And you're getting the same volume.
There's a lot of low flow nozzles out there now.
Yeah, because of the technology that's changed, we're able to do that now and still get the same flow rate, the same gallonage, and you're not sacrificing anything.
Mm-hmm. What I love is the fact that came from the line.
Yeah.
And
it came from invested firemen who are like, hey man, we can do this easier. It doesn't have to be this hard. We don't have to put one, because our engines are staffed at 3. If the officer's making his lap and the gal and the jump seat guy is trying to hit some, fire through the window or whatever before they make entry, 150, 200 is a lot. 150 is a stout amount too. And if you're a 160 pound guy, 150 is a lot to hold on to if you're not doing it correctly. Now, granted, there's a lot of ways to handle hose that you can dissipate a lot of that nozzle reaction. But if we're getting the same gallonage out of much less pressure, it's
my 150 pounds on a smoothbore or on a
that was a combination.
Okay.
Yeah, we run fog nozzles. Combination nozzles.
My captain, we ran 100. We ran 150, but his rule of thumb was he was like, "Look, you can hold it. Question is for how long?"
Right.
You can hold it, but for how long? Because it's going to wear you out.
Yeah, I don't want you penciling. I don't want you penciling. I need to flow.
Right. Yeah.
That's what Matt told his prom date.
Oh.
Whoa. But I love the fact that it's internal motivation, internal change, supported by staff above, and I mean that I'm sure all of that did not come at a cheap cost. And the reality of it, and I appreciate the vulnerability that you had there to share that, is it still came with opposition, but it sounds like through clarity over time, it will happen, and that it's not going to be easy. And I think that's what the viewers need to listen, or the viewers and listeners need to hear, is that for the ones who need to drive change, like it's still going to happen, even if your best friend on the floor comes up with a really good reason for change, somebody's still not going to like it. It's not going to be easy. So just put your big boy britches on and get ready for the fight, because somebody's going to complain about it.
Even down to how you load it. I mean, it was all flat load worked forever. Yeah, it did. But again, are we talking about efficiency? And you got to figure building construction in your area has a lot to do with that as well. Flat load's not great for everything. Sometimes you got 100 and 125, 100, sometimes 150 foot offset before you even get to the house because you can't take the driveway. Well, that throws in a whole nother, set of problems of how to effectively get hose without working yourself to death before you have to go to work. So why not make it easier?
One thing we had a hard time with, I mean, this isn't a smoothbore versus combination nozzle conversation or podcast, but since we're talking about it, we were looking at, we just bought all brand new nozzles. Now, we haven't bought brand new nozzles in I don't even know how long in our fire department. So we had a couple of different manufacturers come out and give us demos and all this kind of stuff. And the smooth bores, we didn't go towards smooth bores. We didn't. And a lot of it had to do with the hose kinking with the less pressure. You guys have that a lot where you're on the nozzle and you're flowing it and it'll kink because there's just not as much pressure as a combination nozzle.
Which throws in a whole nother set of training that you need to take care of. Granted, like I said, we're pumping 110, 115 or whatever it is now with a combination nozzle. Well, now you can't just sit on it and pinch it like we used to because it had enough pressure to keep that inch and 3/4 or inch and 8/8 is what we had at the time expanded.
Yeah.
You've got to change your hose handling techniques to keep that a good S curve in that thing to where you got consistent flow and you're getting a reach out of the intended volume or intended pressure and the nozzle complement that you have.
Yeah. I mean, and there's smoothbore guys and there's the combo guys. You know what I mean? And hey, it looks like Freddie.
No pistol grips.
Looks like Freddie's
We
coming
have
in.
0 pistol grips.
Freddie has joined us. There he is,
Welcome,
folks,
Frederick.
ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, okay. Freddie's happy to be here.
Can you hear us, Freddie?
Is this thing on?
Oh, there he is.
Freddie, you got a smoothbore or combo?
Smoothbore.
Oh, smoothbore guy. Okay, cool. I don't know. We weren't really talking about smoothbore versus combo, to be honest, but I did want to bring
I love
something
the
up.
redesign of your man cave.
Yeah, I was like, Fred, I love the wallpaper. You're doing it, buddy. Are you in
Very
the bathroom?
spring-like.
It looks like a bathroom. You in the bathroom?
Hey, go get a beer and a whiskey and then come back. All
That's
right.
his man cave. Don't joke him.
No, I'm in the office I built for my wife.
Look at that. Just look at that.
Would you just look
So
at
nice.
Just look at
Okay. Hey, you got a rookie. He's coming in. It's his first week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month. If you put on an academy, great. He's on the floor now. And it's like the first night or second night you've been with him. Like, do you guys give him some advice? Like, what kind of advice would you give your rookie, Doug?
Freddie? You were talking to
Yeah.
Freddie. Were you talking to Freddie or me?
I don't care.
Oh.
All of you can answer.
It's a true statement.
Well, let me backtrack for just a second. When we put all this stuff into play, we put it in play in between recruit schools. So the last recruit school that came out, this is all they know. So they didn't have the mixture of the two. So it is a little bit of learning curve for. I'm pretty sure my current rookie did not have the hose load we have now. I'd have to confirm that with him. But anyway, back to what you tell him is, look, man, stay glued to my hip for a few minutes. Let's figure out what we got, and then we can John Wayne.
Okay. And in general, for the first year of his probation, what kind of advice are you getting him? Because we're talking about mentorship here. So I know that this Instagram post kind of got us going sideways a little bit during this podcast, which is fine because it's all good. It's all great conversation and it's good discussion. It's good debate, whatever you want to call it. But let's get back to mentorship. And it's not like so what we talked about last week, Doug, if you didn't listen, was, it was mostly mentorship and what it means to people. And then, Unky came up with the question, do probies have it easier today than we did, and why, but my question is, and I kind of have this kind of set thing that I tell rookies when they come in, is, it's basically just the coyote. You keep your mouth shut and your ears open. It sounds brutal, but it's kind of the way that you come in, and it's like a rite of passage. You know what I mean? And in our department, we try to. This is going to sound really stupid, but we try to harbor a really safe environment for learning. All right, and we're not that hard ass chest beating fireman. We run tons of fires because we don't anymore. Type of department. All right. So how are we going to be safe? We do a lot of stuff in my fire department. Because of where we are, we're kind of on a peninsula, if you will. And so we don't even have a truck, so we have a lot of truck things. All 4 of our fire engines have chainsaws on them. 2 of our fire engines, I should say, have circ saws on them. Okay. How many engines in your department have circ saws? Probably 0. So we're just different. Right. And so, but I'll go back to the environment that we try to create for our probies. It's a safe space. Okay. Some might say ooh, they're so emotional. Right. Great. But we don't bash our guys. Right. But we will give you enough rope to hang yourself. That's what I tell them. And that's what I tell, and that's come from before me. I didn't make that up. That was told to me. Listen, this is a pretty laissez-faire, cool fire department. You work your ass off. They're going to treat you well. You're not going to get yelled at unless you need to be. And you'll know if you need to be, which is fine. But for the most part, we'll give you enough rope to hang yourself. And those guys that take our laissez-faire attitude and environment and they take advantage of it and become very comfortable, they just take the rope, man, and they just build this thing and then they put it around their own neck. And then we just watch them. And it's like, that sucks, but we tell them at the beginning. And that's what I'm talking about. Like that little bit of advice that you give a rookie at the beginning of his career. And that's kind of what we say. It's like, hey, work your ass off, keep your mouth shut and your ears open, and just don't get too comfortable. That's it.
Ask questions. That's my thing. I understand the keep your mouth shut thing, but if you have a legitimate question, I want you to ask it.
Absolutely.
We get, right. Granted, we learn our wisdom and how the job goes by running calls and doing things. You can talk about it all day long. It doesn't matter until you get out in the middle of it, whether it be a house fire, vehicle fire, extrication, EMS calls, you name it. Fire alarms. We had a really fucked up fire. Sorry, Rhett. We had a really bad fire alarm activation. I'll get into that in a little while if you want to. Recently, but I want you to ask questions, and I think that it obviously varies by person because some people are more social and some aren't. But if you make that person, that rookie, feel comfortable in their environment, they're going to ask meaningful questions of, all right, I'll do whatever you want me to do. But like me, for instance, I'll do anything you tell me to do if you tell me why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I think that show me why, have me understand why. I'm not going to do dumb shit just to do dumb shit. Make me understand why.
I think that goes back to our episode 55 and a lot of the conversation that we had in the two classes that we've given and the class that we've got set up is that this generation is not like the one that I came up in. And, anybody that's that 15, 20-year-old that's like, I'll tell you what you need to know when you need to know it. It's like, that's not the group that's coming in the door. They want to know, they need to know. It's how you earn their trust. It's how you give them clarity. And that's how you get them back again in the door tomorrow. Because if not, they're going to leave and they're going to go somewhere else because that's what gives them fulfillment and not always the paycheck.
They're not scared to change jobs, even if it's not in the fire service.
It's
very common now to see these younger 20s and even into the early 30s with 7, 8, 9, 10 jobs on their resume. I've worked here. People just don't work 1 or 2 jobs their whole life anymore. So that generational gap is a thing, and you have to make them feel welcome. You have to, how'd you say it, Brian? You have to make them feel appreciated, or they're going to walk.
Yeah. Well, and you have to make them feel that they feel valued and a part of the team.
Yes.
If they don't feel like, and I'm not saying that they have to be the one that makes the decision, but at least if they feel like that you took enough time to validate them on the team, then they appreciate it. I saw something really good, a brand new captain. He's been in the fire department for a very long time. We're making some decisions in the department about where and how we're changing some things around. And one of his firefighters had an idea and he brought him. And I don't think he did it just because I was there. He was like, hey, that was a great idea. Thank you for thinking of that. And the firefighter was like, you're welcome. Like, I mean, that goes a long way, like a huge long way. It's not, and here's the reality of it. For those who are listening that are a brand new firefighter, that's expected. But you know what else is expected? The thank you. The work is expected, but the appreciation is also expected. It is a two-way street. And so for mentorship, if you're listening and you're a company officer, or if you're a firefighter, the thank you goes both ways. It goes back to the company officer. It's not like you just sit back and go, thank you, thank you, thank you. But, it's also nice for a company officer to be appreciated as well. So if you're sitting there and your captain does something for you, he helps get something pushed through or make sure that you get that day off that you wanted, or however leave is done, or make sure that your training gets pushed through so that way you get everything you need to promote. Something to go in there and saying, hey, thanks, Cap, for making sure that I got in on that class. It's like, you're welcome. Like that goes a long way. Thanks for making sure that we got new tires on the front of that truck, man. I that was getting a little sketchy. And I know it's their job, right? It's their job below you and above you, but man, we have lost that. And that, when it comes to mentorship, in my mind, is so huge, right? It's just like holding the door open in society today.
Yeah.
We don't do it, right? Like we see somebody coming and we're like, only if they're like right there. If they're a little bit ways away, we don't do it. But that's the whole thing. So I'm gonna let Freddie chime in because he looks like he's ready to jump at the bit.
I think when I was listening back last week, and Unky said, "Do the probies or the rookies have it easier?" When I was listening, I yelled at the radio. I don't know that they have it easier, and maybe they do. They have it different. And here's what sparked right into my brain is, Brian, when you got onto your fire department, what was one of the first things you had to do? You had to take out what?
I had to take out the trash.
Well, no. Learning wise. Was there a map set that you had to learn your district and fill out a map every single day?
Well, we didn't drive. So for us it was different. We didn't start driving until year 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when on my first apartment, driving was seniority based. But you 100% your first 6 weeks, 10 weeks of your probation, every day you have to fill out a map every single day.
Yeah.
And your first 2 weeks, it's got to be to 80%. And then after that, you got to start turning them in correct.
Wow.
I mean, almost tradition wise, you fill out maps now, but
yeah,
bricks, active 911,
yeah,
all those things, like you've got all these other things. So
how many maps?
You're not using
Freddie,
paper maps anymore.
Well, let me ask to the level so that way the younger generation understands it, because we did that as well. We had a map, and ours was spaghetti. It was not a grid system, because grid system, it would almost be kind of too hard, right? But ours was numbers. We're not numbers based. We only had like first, second street, first, second, third avenues, and they were on different ends of the same district. But I digress from that for a second. But how many different maps did you have to memorize? We had 23 maps when I made driver, and you were expected to memorize those as part of your driver sign off. You got 5 blank maps. You had no idea what they were, and you had to get a 90% on each map to be able to pass that next step. So you could only miss so many of those maps, and I can guarantee you were not getting the easy map. So you could write off probably about a third of those from being out of the pool to be able to pass on. So how many maps did you have to memorize?
So my first spot had legal size paper, and it was a map of the city with no names on it. And by the time, realistically, they wanted it pretty darn quick. But by the time you were 6 months into probation, you had to be able to fill out every street, even the little, 2 house dead ends. You have to know all the address breaks. You got to know, and there was 4 railroad tracks that cut my city in half. So you had to know all the crossovers.
Can I ask why? Like, you're a fireman?
Oh.
You had to know this?
Why'd you get so loud all of a sudden?
Oh,
he
sorry.
did. He got very loud.
Jeez.
Why?
Well, we didn't have CAD.
What?
So,
why do we do anything in the fire service, Matt? Because it's what we've always done.
Right. Well, I will say for us, we didn't have CAD. So when we heard the way our stations would be dispatched, it would be like structure fire 123 Main Street. We needed to know who was first and then who was running second and third on that. So that was why. And so we used priority dispatch for that, but it was not like when you hear priority dispatch, you're like, oh, then you must have CAD in the truck and you must have all these other things. So those things did not come till later. And so with automated dispatching, so we had to know who it was, but also for when we were out. We were out doing hydrant inspections and pre-plans and, all these other duties that most people don't do. So to be able to go to the map and be able to say, oh, on the map, that geographical boundary is XYZ 1, 2, 3. Plus, in a growing city like we were, a lot of those printed maps that came from GIS were outdated. So they would throw in a map into the map book, and we just learned that new map. I think I said map about 20 times in 2 minutes.
I think like to kind of nail my original point home is I think everybody still is expected to do things, but it's different even from 10 years ago. Like I just hit 15 years in the fire service between my two departments, and we just hired somebody today. Today was their first day. And yesterday we were going through and setting up everything that she needed to like do on the first day. And like thinking back to my first day 15 years ago, like it was just wildly different. And obviously it's a different department, but the other thing that you were asking that jogged my mind is like you said, hey, you got a new hire. What are you going to do with them? How are you going to mentor them? The thing that we have to take into account right now is, at least in Michigan, there is so many jobs available. We are getting so many lateral hires right now versus like fresh out the academy. Like it seems like the fresh out of the academy people are doing like paid on call for a few years, and then they lateral out. And then they lateral. No, you're good. And then they lateral into an apartment. So now you have that to tackle. Of you come in and it's like, hey, welcome to XYZ Fire Department. Here's what we do, and they're like, oh yeah, that's really similar to where like my two other spots. And with my opinion is you have to take that with a little bit of grain of salt because experience is good. I think bringing experience to the job is awesome, but there's obviously a fine line between like, oh, this is what we did here, and constantly saying, this is what we did here, this is what we did here, this is what we did here, and it's like, I gotcha.
Yeah.
All fire departments are the same, only the names change, right?
Yeah. I will say, and I know we got to get to snail mail, Matt, but I will say, I do think that is one thing that has changed for the better with as many laterals. That has been drilled into the recruits' heads so many times. The likelihood of people saying, well, this is the way I did it, whatever, da-da-da-da-da, we don't hear that as much because usually on first day, they set the tone and they say, we don't want to hear that. And so it doesn't usually get transpired. And usually in recruit school, the majority of the officers will say, if you get hired, do not walk in the door and say that, well, I did it this way, wherever, whatever.
Should have stayed there.
Right. You should have stayed there, and that'll put a bad taste in everyone's mouth. And so don't say that. I don't hear that as much as what I did 20 years ago. 20 years ago.
That sets your career reputation at this department on a bad path from day one.
Yeah, so I don't hear that as much.
All this that we're talking about. When to ask questions, right? To not ask questions. Like when it is, to keep your mouth shut and to keep your ears open. All this comes back to the original reason why we started this topic in this podcast was mentorship. Have a mentor that you can call that's in a different department or maybe in the same department, but some guy or girl that you can call to either A, vent, or B, ask questions like, hey, do you think I'm doing this right? To learn from, right? I mean, a lot of this stuff, the guys aren't going to tell you. They're just going to let you fail. It's like as bad as it sounds, right? They're going to give you advice. Like for me, I say, hey, I mean, now in the position I'm in now, I would say, hey, engineer, go talk to the fireman. He's doing this, and this. Oh, I thought so too. Okay, good. When I was an engineer, I just went to my fireman and said, look, dude, I know you want to be a part of the crew. I know I could see it in your eyes. Like you're going to be great. It's just not the time. It's just not the time. You need to keep your head down, keep your mouth shut, keep your ears open, learn as much as you can, keep working hard. And that's all kind of stuff that you can learn from a mentor.
Keep
And
them peacock feathers tucked, brother.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. You know, it's almost like it's just like a nonverbal thing that we all feel. You know, it's weird. Like a guy comes in with this energy, you're like, whoa, okay, this guy, and he starts talking like, whoa, okay. As opposed to the guy that just wants to come in, you know, put his head down, shows instead of talks his way, he shows through evolutions and stuff like that, through training and all that he's going to be good to go. So anyway, anything to add, guys? I know we could talk about this for 4 or 5 episodes. 2 episodes probably is not even enough. And in fact, we'll probably do a part 3 at some point. I think next week we're going to have a little mental health, the state of the fire department as a whole across the nation, as far as mental health and resilience and all that. We might have Greg Rudiger on. But for now, I think we do a little snail mail.
I want to add one thing. Since we started talking about new people, don't ever go to a fire alarm activation and expect it to be it's a false alarm. Oh, it's somebody cooking. Oh, it's cleaning smoke, whatever. Don't ever freaking do that. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds, but we had a unit punched out at 4:30 in the morning for a fire alarm activation. Everybody's wearing what they're supposed to wear. Everything was perfect. However, they turn on the street. There's fucking smoke everywhere, and there's fire ripping through the fucking front window. As a fire alarm activation, the second in unit now, because they have to upgrade their assignment, is 5-6 minutes behind. So them guys are John Wayne for 5-6 minutes by themselves. 2 rescues. So don't ever assume that a fire alarm is nothing. Don't ever do it.
There was a fire.
Don't be discouraged if you are somebody that's looking to do a lateral. Just to put a bow on it. Like, I get that we were like, hey, keep your mouth shut type thing, but like, experience is valuable.
Very.
It just has to be
applicable.
Well placed. Does that make sense? Like, if you come from a department and you got 15 years, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We want you to share your stuff, but at the appropriate time, not all the time.
You're still the new guy here.
You
Snail mail.
Figure it out on your own, and we will tell you, but we won't tell you. It's just a funny thing. All right, snail mail.
It's snail mail time.
All right, snail mail, folks. So we've already kind of, I said at the beginning of the podcast, we didn't want to beat a dead horse here. But we did have that clip, and a lot of people got on us. And the only thing I wanted to clarify from the post was, you know, Brian got on and he was saying, in this clip specifically, was saying, you know, don't screw your brother. You know, don't be the guy that text a bunch of firemen saying, hey, I need this day off. None of them respond, or they all say they can't do it. And then all of a sudden you call in sick, because your time is not more important than my time. And a lot of guys are saying family first. Yeah. Okay. You signed up to be a servant. You got to work 10 days a month. It's your shift. Show up. That's it. That's all I'm saying. When it comes to that, it's your shift. Show up, right? You're going to make me miss my daughter's prom pictures that I'm looking forward to going to tomorrow, but because you couldn't find coverage tomorrow, so you called in sick for your kid's graduation. Hey, do I care that you're going to miss your kid's graduation? Absolutely. But work your damn shift. All right. And you got sometimes things come up, right? Where you can, and you got to try to find a trade. Nobody signed up for availabilities to work overtime. I don't know what to tell you, man. These comments are just insane. And a lot of them, you know, some of them, I learned something, and Brian brought it up, the variables. And some of the variables are that you work for a department that keep position. I've known of a fire department that keeps positions open on a contract, on the fire association contract, leaves those positions open just for overtime. I know that department. I won't say it out loud. I mean, not that it matters, but it's like and so then I'm sure they bitch and complain when they get forced for it. And so guys are talking about that on Instagram. They're making comments saying, well, it's staff's problem because they don't staff the department correctly. That's not what we're talking about. Like, sure, that could be a problem. That's a whole nother discussion, right, Brian? I mean, that's a whole nother discussion as to the variables of a fire department staffing. What we're talking about is screwing your brother because you couldn't get the day off. Your shift. You work B shift.
Yep. Yeah. And that's what, and that's kind of what I was saying. Like, you know, some of you guys have the Mando overtime coffee mugs. That's the scenario that we're talking about. We're not talking about when you legitimately need to use your sick leave, when you want to use it to calculate to your overtime or for your retirement. Those are all legits, or even to Adam's point. So that's why, again, not to drag that what I've already set out, but yeah. And the whole episodes. That's what it's for.
Well, and the crappy thing is, Brian, the people that are making these comments aren't going to listen to this. So we're really kind of just talking to our listeners, and they all understand because they listen to the podcast, so they get the context.
Snail mail. Next comment.
So
Next one.
Yep, next one. So the last one. I know we're going kind of late. We're already at over an hour. So we had a really funny. I don't know how to say it. Instance or humana. So on Spotify, we were getting. So we actually shouted her out last podcast last week, Rebecca. So Rebecca made a few comments on Spotify, and so I get we get this message on a direct message on TikTok from Little Firefighter. So we were also getting comments from Little Firefighter on Spotify, and we're going, who is this? And Brian, you even had mentioned it. You said, I think there's like a Little Firefighter that has a big following on TikTok.
Yes.
Ends up being this kid. So this kid's name is Quinn. He's 11 years old. His dad's a 27-year fireman, wherever they live. I'm not sure where they live.
Midwest
and
somewhere.
He found our podcast on Spotify, and he's been binge listening to it behind his mom's back, and she was like, I listened to it and it's all good. I love you guys. And so I wrote her back today, this long message, and,
oh God,
I know. And I said, we would be, shouting them out, for this week. And so this kid finds us, starts binge listening to us and responding, but he didn't know that he was under his mom's account when it was going for Rebecca. So we were like, this Rebecca lady is responding, but it's actually Quinn. And so she says, hey guys, this is Rebecca, Little Firefighter's mom, and apparently an avid commenter on your podcast. My 11-year-old Quinn, the OG Little Firefighter, and he loves and is obsessed with your podcast. I just became aware of it, and he has binge listened to your shows in a very few days since finding it. He started commenting on your podcast, not realizing it was under my name, Rebecca, when replying. So then she put the laughing emoji. But it's all good because I've listened to you, and you're all great. My son legitimately loves all things fire service related. His dad is a fireman for 27 years. Anything we can do to help promote and blah, 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 blah. So we're going to do some sort of collaboration with Quinn. And I think what we might do is just get him on and ask him a couple questions about why he wants to be a firefighter and about his dad and all this cool stuff. So we're going to get you on, Quinn. I know you're going to listen to this because I told your mom that we were going to be shouting you out. So I wrote her, like I said, this long response that we now have Quinn and Rhett that we have to apologize.
I'd love to get the whole family.
Sorry about my language, Quinn.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah,
I would. Rebecca, Quinn, Dad, everybody. I would love to have you all on because I think, when we've had the Firefighters' Wives podcast, I can't remember their names right now off the top of my head.
Dear Chiefs.
Dear Chiefs, thank you. I could not think of it. Like it just went out. That's old timers.
They all retired too.
I think,
Did they?
I think they shut it down.
Yep.
Oh, wow. So with the Dear Chiefs podcasts and, just that perspective, the family perspective and the next generation as well, I think that would be a great episode to just have them all on. So check your calendars.
Yeah, get the whole family.
Yeah, get the whole family on. Like, what is it like to do content creation? What was their idea?
And
why is it?
What's the favorite one? What's the favorite department they've been to? Because that's half of his content is he goes to random departments and then talks about them and stuff like that.
I want a tour of his unit. He's got an apparatus out there in the garage. He's got this. I'm sure his dad probably built it for him, but he's got this little side by side or something.
It's like a side by side. Yeah,
I would love to get some more details about that. I think it's really cool.
All right.
Shout out Sam.
He's
needs
got
some
a
lighting.
radio. He gets the whole dispatch. It's awesome.
So
It's
yes.
probably better than some department stuff.
So we're definitely going to get them on, and we'll keep the dialogue open on TikTok on the direct message. We'll figure something out, and I don't want to miss anybody. I know we had a lot of people show up for Kenny's thing, but a guy named Andrew actually posted on our last podcast about RIT. He said, another great episode, gents. I was wondering if you guys' departments had internal RIC or RIT team, and if so, I was wondering if y'all could touch on it. So he was saying for the county I work in, as far as I know, there are only 2 RIC teams. And I've been very fortunate to be on one of those teams. So that's interesting. I didn't know that they had like county RIC teams.
Like
so
dedicated?
I think almost need him to like expand on it.
Yeah.
You know, because
it's not an assignment when you get on a call.
Yeah,
right.
Second engine or
I'm going to need
whatever.
more info.
So Andrew, I was thinking the same thing. I just didn't know if maybe it was like an East Coast thing that you guys knew about this. What's up, Fred?
Unless he's referring to mental health, I have seen a couple of RIC teams referring to mental health, like rapid intervention.
Well, give us
Counseling?
some
Crew.
follow up on that.
Yeah, give us some follow up, Andrew, on this podcast that we're going to be posting. I think it's episode 130 now. Now that I'm looking at it, it's actually 130, I think. So give us a little bit more clarification, because for what I understand, I mean, we all do RIC in our county. Like all of our, I mean, typically we assign it to a truck for us. That's what we do. I mean, the second in truck is RIC for us. Sorry.
You don't have trucks. Your second engine.
Because
he doesn't mean truck.
Your second engine.
No, I mean truck.
Just put it on your assignment.
But because we
mutual aid
have trucks, oh my gosh, I can't.
Oh
talk.
my god, just what a mess. Next episode.
Whole other episode coming. I don't think that's what he's talking about, but that's another episode.
Maybe not.
Apparatus.
No, I'm talking truck. I make the
Oh,
first truck
good
ventilation
Lord.
sec truck and RIC.
Somebody tell her to roll it.
Shout out to the guy who commented that I wanted to, and I didn't send it in a text thread, for calling you out for drinking beer with your freaking pinky out. You weirdo.
He did.
Jesus Christ, what a weirdo.
Did you see I responded?
I did.
You did.
And you need that. Shout out to you, sir. I appreciate you. Hey, but
Real
look,
men
in all
of
seriousness,
genius.
this drops on Halloween, so all you kiddies be safe. Don't be running in the street. Make sure you got a responsible adult with you, and have fun on Halloween.
And define responsible. Grown ups, be responsible.
Yeah.
You know, firemen don't want
at
to
least
go to-
one of you.
Well, unfortunately, there's been multiple children hit by cars on Halloween because parents
Yeah.
weren't being responsible.
Right.
So
Somebody's
don't
got
let
to
us
be
go
the
to those
adult.
kind of call. Yeah, somebody's got to be the adult.
And remember, Halloween is the one night that cops can dress up like firemen and feel like heroes.
Amen. Roll it, Gigi.
Roll it, Gigi.
Before you leave, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and give these firemen a huge thumbs up. Also, make sure you check out thecoolfireman.com for more. Thanks!